All right, I'm here with my friend Farouz, and we're taking a look at the CAPM exam. I know lots of you are thinking about taking the CAPM exam in 2023, but one of the cool things is that business analysis has been added, and business analysis is 27% of the exam. So we're just going to take a very quick tour in advance of our major class on business analysis starting in a couple of weeks, and we're going to just go through the high-level information about this task. Okay, so you know there are different domains for this exam. Domain 1 is project management fundamentals, 36%. Domain 2 is predictive plan-based methodologies, which is 17%. For that, you definitely need to know your 49 processes, 5 process groups, knowledge areas, and so on. The next one is the Agile frameworks and methodologies domain. That's 20% of the exam. And the fourth one is going into the world of business analysis, and it's 27% of the exam. So what exactly is the work of a business analyst? I hear this all the time. Well, let's make a case for business analysis. Business analysis is so important because 47% of unsuccessful projects don't meet their goals because of poor requirements management. Now, guess what is at the center of business analysis? It's requirements, requirements collection, requirements elicitation, requirements management, and so on. Now, those organizations that demonstrate maturity in business analysis practices are 55% more successful in implementing strategy and are much more likely to achieve the expected value from the investments made on programs and projects. So who is the business analyst is a question. Business analysis can actually be performed by any individual, regardless of the person's title or position. In the guide that the PMI makes available to you as a member, it is the people, the persons who perform business analysis processes. Those are the people we call business analysts. So even if you're called project manager, but you're performing the role of a BA, you are a business analyst. Okay, I have PMPs and CAPMs who are business analysts. So it makes sense that the PMI has added this. Now let's look at the difference between business analysis and project management really quickly. When we talk about business analysis, it's the set of activities performed to support the delivery of solutions that align to business objectives and provide continuous value to the organization. But when you talk about project management, it's of a wider scope. It's the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities. So business analysis is cocooned inside project management. You got the big project, but you've got an area inside it that has to do with business analysis. So the roles and responsibilities of the business analyst can be as follows. We have business analysts communicating and working with senior management. They need to understand what senior management want. We also have them working with portfolio, program, and project managers. We have them working all across the business. Other business analysts, architects and designers, quality control, vendors, government, governance, users, subject matter experts, functional managers, all of these, the business analyst role is going to touch all of these. So it's absolutely important for us to realize that these business analysis relationships are critical for projects. So let's go into a few of them, just a little bit, just briefly. So let's talk about the business analysis and stakeholders and customers. Whether it's internal or external customers, having strong relationships with these individuals leads to success. And the business analyst should be able to interrelate with these folks. The same for the design team. Business analysts support the design team by serving as the business advocate, sharing business need and current state environment, by reviewing design proposals and providing feedback. Think about it like this. A business analyst should understand the business. That's one. Secondly, a business analyst should be able to work with all these people, whether it's on the governance side, and when we say governance, we mean PMO, Project Management Office, auditors, DevOps. They should be able to interrelate with these people to not only understand the project, but also understand the business need, and then to know which requirements to elicit and how to facilitate those discussions. Depending on regulations and guidelines, relationships may need to be established with government agencies at the state, federal, or international level. We also talk about functional managers, building relationships. It's important because it can help the BA remove impediments. It could also help obtain subject matter expert resources. What about portfolio and program managers? Well, I can speak firsthand. I had a really great BA when I worked in a well-known airline company, and the BAs lend analytical expertise. They know what to do. They help the project manager to elicit these requirements. They help with business problem analysis. They have very analytical minds. Project manager, of course, a business analyst and the project manager, they can greatly influence the success of the project. So it's a collaboration. And the project sponsor champions the product and project. And the BA advocates on behalf of the sponsor. They work with the sponsor to define the problem. They're great at this. BAs that are worth their salt, they know the right question to ask and how to describe things from my experience. Product teams, BAs work with product teams. Enterprise and business architects lend support across the organization. I may not be on a project team, but they help the BA, right? They work together in conducting product development work. The BA works with the project team, product quality control. They have a relationship with other business analysts and other SMEs. Now, this is just a primer, so I'm going pretty quick. I want to jump really quickly into the 6 knowledge areas of business analysis and the process groups. So this is going to go very quick. We have 6. We have stakeholder engagement, needs assessment, elicitation, analysis, traceability monitoring, and solution evaluation. So let's take a look at these. Needs assessment is analyzing the current business problems or opportunities. Stakeholder engagement is identifying and analyzing those who have an interest in the outcome of the solution to determine how to collaborate and communicate. Elicitation is the drawing out of those requirements. Analysis is breaking down, synthesizing, and clarifying the information you've collected to better understand it. A good business analyst knows that the game isn't over after elicitation. Elicitation is just the beginning. You got to go back and analyze. Oh, we collected all these things. Is this complete? Is this all? Because guess what? You do your analysis and you discover, oh, we actually don't have enough information in what we have elicited. So that is a very important step. And then we have traceability and monitoring, and that's tracing these requirements, tracing, approving, and assessing changes to product information to manage it all throughout the business analysis effort. You might have heard of something called a requirements traceability matrix. It helps you track requirements to their origin. Who asked for this requirement? That's what we mean by traceability. And then monitoring, as the product is being developed, you're monitoring, okay, has this been done? Has it been done effectively? And so on. And then we have solution evaluation. So one of the things that BAs are also involved in is validating a full solution or a segment of the solution. And the reason is we want to find out how well the solution meets the business need. That's really what we're about. So when you think about these 6 things, when you think about them, needs assessment, stakeholder engagement, elicitation, analysis, traceability and monitoring, and solution evaluation, they all work hand in hand. They all work hand in hand. So the image I showed you previously, you can see they work hand in hand, and there's a lot of iterations. It's not a one-time thing. So the stakeholder is going to engage all throughout, through the elicitation, through the traceability and monitoring, through the analysis, but also the final solution evaluation. We're always going to go back to that question. did we really get everything that was needed? Is this all, or is there more? So you're always going to go back. And the PMI is just trying to show you from this image that there's a relationship, and it is so interwoven. We could probably draw a lot more arrows, but the PMI represents stakeholder engagement with everything. They're just trying to show you that everything is to do with how the stakeholder interrelates. So at a very high level, let's talk about the process groups, because they're process groups in business analysis. So we have define and align. That's the first one. Then we have the initiating process group, which makes sense because we know this from project management. So it's performed to define what we're doing. Then we have planning process group to plan, executing process group to execute, monitoring and controlling process group used to assess the impact of the proposed product changes. And lastly, the releasing process group. It helps determine whether all or part of a solution should be released. Now, here's the scary part for people who don't know about how PMI works. There's a big old grid. There's always a big old grid. In all their standards, there's a big old grid. So this is a big old grid. But here's the good news. For CAPM, you don't need to cram this. You don't need to cram it. And I've made it very, very simple and visually compelling. And I'm going to give one example of this table and how we're going to break it down in the training. We're going to take each slice and we're going to demystify that knowledge area of business analysis by taking it a step at a time. So we're going to take needs assessment, and then we're going to break it down for you at a high level first. So a needs assessment is analyzing current business problems or opportunities to understand, what is necessary to attain the desired future state? And then we're going to break it down into the processes. So in a needs assessment, you got to first of all identify the problem or the opportunity. Makes sense. And then you assess the current state. Where are we at currently? You try to assess the environment to understand the most important factors causing the problem or opportunity in the organization. And then you determine, where do you want to go to? Where's the future? And then you determine viable options and provide recommendations. So you're going to have done some sensible research to say, this is a solution that we propose. And then we facilitate product roadmap development. This develops a product roadmap that aligns stakeholders and clearly illustrates how the solution will be released through incremental product deliveries or a single product delivery. It's very similar to the roadmap we talk about in the world of Agile. Number 6, assemble the business case. Create a business case that makes a case for the project and clearly illustrates why the solution that you're going to choose is the best solution. So typically in a business case, you have 2 or 3. Some people say you have at least 3. But in a business case, you have these options and you can see which solution is best and why. And lastly, you got to support the development of the project charter. So it's the needs assessment in the world of project management is usually talked about first. After the needs assessment comes a business case. After a business case that makes a case for the project, then you have the charter. And that's how it flows. And guess what? Out of every one of these, there's an output. So we have the business need, and you don't have to memorize these or cram them, but you should know at least what they are. So the business need, situation statement, I mean, these announce what they are. You don't even need to cram them. Business need, what is the need of the business? Situation statement, what's the current situation, right? And then the current state assessment, assessing the current state, the business goals and objectives, the required capabilities and features, because you're looking for the gap between the current and the future state. And then feasibility study results, recommended solution options. So one of the things you do before offering solutions is do a feasibility study, and I'm sure you can appreciate this from the world of marketing as well. Product roadmap, we've talked about that. The business case, the product scope, which is the features and functions of the product. And there's something that in the world of Praizion, in our company, we call it the gold zone. And the gold zone is just going to hone in on the tools, techniques, and the inputs and outputs that are most important for this. So all of these things listed here we already have pre-records that can help you better understand them. But in class, we'll just touch on them very lightly. And this is just one out of the 6, but you can see it's not insurmountable. It's not so big that when you're looking at it, it's like, oh, it's actually not that bad. But when you look at it on this table, it looks very intimidating. But when I present it to you like this, it doesn't look that bad, does it? Not bad. Yeah. So that is just a tiny little intro. All of the other areas, they will be broken down in the training, whether it is stakeholder engagement, we have the full slides where we've broken this down, whether it's elicitation, all of the other areas, we're going to break them down really well. And then for all of those tools and techniques and inputs and outputs, we are going to break them down further like this, just visually, very simple and not intimidating, just like this. All right. So I hope this made sense. I hope those who were watching along were able to see how we're going to break this down. So we got this big old table, and I know it looks intimidating, but we're going to be slicing it piece at a time. We're going to be giving you a lot of graphics, a lot of illustrations, a lot of compelling imagery to help you understand business analysis, and also bringing in our students who have done this as a role to kind of shed some more light on it so that you're truly confident before your exam. All right, so thank you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. We shall see, hopefully, in the class.